What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dolphin Chronicles presented by Kendall Sports Network. My name is Johnny Cruz. I am the Yankee fan, and I am here, of course, with my co-host here, Byron. What's going on, Byron? How was your weekend, bro?
Good, man. How was Father's Day? Everything went well?
Yeah, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? It was a chill day. As you get older, you realize that you appreciate those more. So you just want to kind of relax and just enjoy your day or whatever. So it was cool, man. I got to watch some WNBA and then I watched a little bit of the Yankee game because I got ugly quick. And then I got to watch the season premiere of House of the Dragon. So it was a cool day. It was a good day.
So you didn't get the normal Father's Day treatment where on Mother's Day, mom can't lift a finger. On Father's Day, everyone's going, "What are you cooking on the grill? What are you doing for this?"
No,
What are you
no,
doing?
nah. Yeah, no, I got the good treatment. I got some my hoko boy. I got some chicken and yellow rice.
Nice,
So that was nice. You know what I'm saying? For some reason I had been craving honestly Taco Bell, so we actually had that for lunch.
nice.
You know what I'm saying? It was like I said, I keep it simple. I'm pretty chill like that. You know what I'm saying? So it was nice to just relax and chill with the family and stuff like that. And the chicken and yellow rice came out banging. So props to wife. You got to give her a shout out. Thank you, love. It was a good day.
I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. I got to drive 4 hours in the darkness of night for to cap off my weekend. So
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're safe. As a person who has a Class A CDL and has done a lot of driving in his life, I get
yeah,
it. So I'm glad you're okay and you're home safe. Got a lot of Dolphins news to touch on.
yes,
Um,
sir.
the Madden rankings came out, and our boy is in the mix. Our boy Tua is in the mix as far as quarterback rankings and overall rankings. The Dolphins made a nice signing on the defensive line, something I have been banging on the table for months. I think I even mentioned it last offseason before the man went to Atlanta. But, of course, the Dolphins signing Calais Campbell and then another quarterback gets a big, fat contract, and we are still waiting on what happens with Mr. Tua Tagovailoa down here in Miami. But we're gonna start off with the Madden rankings. Byron, they came out today. Our boy Tyreke, of course, he is a 99 overall, and tops of the wide receivers. That's expected. You know, what I'm saying he's one of the best wide receivers in football, best, most dynamic weapons in all of the NFL. So that's no surprise there. But our boy Tua got a little love. He's ranked as an 88 is his ranking.
Hmm.
And I believe that is sixth among quarterbacks.
Yes.
So that's top 10. We've talked about it here that we would put him somewhere in the 10 to 12 range. So I
Hmm.
think for the most part, I think Madden showed him some love.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. It's. I feel like he's right where he should be. And
Mm-hmm.
88 isn't too crazy, and 88 isn't too low, too high. I think they got him right where he should be. I do
Right.
have a few issues with the rankings, but um, it's at least Tua is right where he should be. In the rankings here in Madden.
All right. Well, I mean that's fair enough. Like I said, I'd like to hear, not for nothing, for all the Madden players out there. Shout out to all of you. Before we get into that, if you're new, hit the subscribe, smash that like. Make sure you turn on notifications so you know whenever we are going live. We are on every Monday night, 7:30. We of course are missing our third leg, Mr. Alex, who's still at work again, and they held it down for me last Monday because again life happens. So that's why you want to make sure you have your notifications on. But somebody will be here, and it's me and Byron holding it down on Mondays. Of course, on Thursday nights at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, False 9. All things Inter Miami with Byron and our boy Mark, holding it down, talking all things Inter Miami for you Inter Miami fans and you soccer fans in general. Mark's is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to soccer, so definitely check it out. And every Friday night at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, of course, is This Week in Miami with Byron and my boy Alex. holding down everything that happens in the 305. So again, subscribe, smash the like button, turn on those notifications. So what are your gripes with the Madden rankings, Byron?
So here's the top two I have no issue with. Mahomes, 99 overall. Lamar, 98 overall. Here's where my issue comes in. No, what in the world are they thinking? Number one, Dak getting a 90. That's number one. Number two, who, in your opinion, right now, bar none, better quarterback, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen?
Ooh, I gotta give it to Josh Allen, and I'm sorry. And I know Joe Burrow took his team to a Super Bowl, but I think Josh Allen has been more consistent and has done it a little longer. Joe Burrow again had that Super Bowl run with Cincinnati, but he's been hurt 2 out of his 4 years in the league. So while he's a phenomenal quarterback, and I love Joe Burrow just like anybody else, I kind of got to give the nod to Josh Allen. To be quite honest, so I would go Josh Allen just slightly ahead of Joe Burrow.
And I would agree. Madden has Burrow at 93 and Josh Allen at 92. That's one of my biggest gripes.
That feels like I don't know. That feels like somebody working at Madden was just being a little petty.
I agree.
Maybe a Jets fan was working there or whatever, and just had to put Josh Allen below Joe Burrow, or somebody from Cincinnati showing yes. Joe Burrow a little bit more love. I'm with you on the Dak at 90, but I guess it's they're kind of trying to be fair with him, similar to what they gave Tua with the 88. Do I think he's better than Tua? I think they're right around the same level, to be quite honest. So I mean, but yeah, I wouldn't have given him the distinction of being in the 90 clubs. I would have put him at 89. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to put him above Tua, I would put him at 89.
Right. And so then you have Justin Herbert and Brock Purdy at 87 and 85. I think Brock Purdy should be a little bit higher than 85. I think Justin Herbert is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Not that he should be in the 90s, because I don't think Herbert's a 90.
Right.
But I think Herbert's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Those are just my gripes.
Well, I mean, he definitely has the tools. Now there's the picture is kind of becoming a little bit more clear for me since you mentioned Justin Herbert and Brock Purdy and their scores.
87 and 85. Herbert at 87, Purdy at 85.
I mean, yeah. Did I definitely? Yeah, I mean, again, I want to say that they account for injuries, but at the same time, if that's the case, then why would they have had Joe Burrow ahead of Josh Allen? So that kind of
that's it right there.
That kind of takes that out of the equation. That's an interesting one. I'm sure there's a lot of other. I'm sure people in San Francisco are screaming, or the Madden players in San Francisco and in LA are screaming about that. The diehard Madden. The diehard Madden players.
A guy who's never won a playoff game in his life.
Right.
Being ranked above a guy was an injury away from a Super Bowl and got to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. Like honestly, I was when you were naming off Brock Purdy and Justin Herbert, I honestly expected you to be telling me that those guys were above Tua. To be quite honest, like I thought that was like the list of going down all the quarterbacks and stuff like that. So that's a little interesting to see that. But I think I don't know, man. I mean, I would have to look at all the different categories of stuff like that. Like I could see where Brock Purdy isn't ranked as high because of like he doesn't have the biggest arm. He doesn't have the great. Like he's accurate, but saying like how Madden has all the different categories to rank him or whatever. So I don't know, man. Like I said, that's the one thing. And the crazy part is how the players take this so seriously, because they take where they get ranked in Madden. You're saying to really mean something. These
Just
players,
like
we
2K
gotta
rating.
remember they're in their early to mid 20s. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them. And I know I was playing a lot of Madden when I was in my early to mid 20s. So I get it. These players, yeah, they take that to heart, especially if they get if they get bad rankings in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? But
Well,
um,
how seriously do NBA players take their 2K rating?
oh my God,
You
yes,
see
yeah,
them
absolutely,
petitioning
yeah,
online all the time.
yeah, yeah. That is a very good point there. So yeah, I hear you on that. But no, yeah, so that's definitely interesting. I don't know that. Yeah, I'm not gonna hide that I'm not a big Dak fan. Do I think he's a bad quarterback? No, but I
No,
don't think I don't think he's a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. I don't think he's a better quarterback than Tua. Like I said, I put them both about on the same tier. But if it was up to me, I would take Tua over Dak.
I
And I
agree.
probably would take Brock Purdy right now over Dak, to be quite honest. So I get where you're coming from on that. That's fair.
I take Brock Purdy. Oh, here's the thing. I would have put Brock Purdy ahead of Tua. If Tua were an 85 and
Mm.
Brock Purdy were an 88, I wouldn't have had a problem with the rankings.
No, I'm not. I'm not in the same boat as you are. Like as even though for all the shit that Tua takes and gets or whatever, like he still has a winning record. He did stuff in those first 2 years with limited help at the skill position. Again, is Tua great? No, Tua's really good. Tua, I think, still has potential to get better. We've talked about Tua, and we're going to touch on him a little more later on as well. But I would have him above Brock Purdy. I understand he was the one injury away from possibly going to a Super Bowl, but that San Francisco team is loaded. So you're saying I'm going to give them a lot more credit. I'm not trying to take nothing away from him, but he's a good player, Brock Purdy. But I'm not gonna give him all that much credit just yet. I definitely think he's behind. I think his spot being behind Justin Herbert, Tua, and probably like right at the same level as Dak, I think would have been about fair. You know what I'm saying, for all
I'm,
those to be.
I don't disagree with anything you said. I think Tua and Purdy are pretty much at the same level in terms of
Mm-hmm.
just their ability, their limitations. However, if the rankings had been Tua at an 85 and Purdy at an 88, I wouldn't have made a big stink about it. Is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, no, I hear
it
you,
wouldn't have
but
been
oh my
out of the
God,
realm of
can you
possibility.
imagine our fan base though? Like our fan base
No,
is already divided about the whole Tua shit now. So imagine if Brock Purdy in a video game, Madden, was ranked higher than Tua, like he would have been getting so much shit. Like, look, he doesn't even get a higher ranking on Madden than Brock Purdy. So I'm glad that didn't happen.
no, I
But
clearly,
but
but I'm just
no,
like
I'm with you. No,
realistically,
yeah, I hear you. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would put all four of those quarterbacks that we're talking about right now pretty much on the same tier. You know
yes,
what
I
I'm saying?
agree.
And if I'm picking them, and Dolphin fans forgive me, and as much as Justin Herbert hasn't done shit as far as like winning at a high level and playoffs or whatever, if you're giving me all four, no injuries right now, I'm probably taking him either one or two with him and Tua, and then Brock Purdy, and then Dak is probably the last one that I'm picking.
When you say no
I'm just saying.
injury, is that Tua included?
That's Tua included. Like if Tua came out of college without that hip injury,
Okay,
you know
okay,
what I'm
okay.
saying? Like I'm going
That
that
was gonna
far
be my question.
as far as like injury period. You know what I'm saying? If Tua came out of that draft without the busted up hip,
I think he's
and
number one overall.
I think I think he is number one overall, and I think the Dolphins would have had no problem jumping on. I mean, jumping on top of Joe Burrow. You know, say that would have been the interesting debate. You know what I'm saying? Do you take Joe Burrow? Do you take Justin Herbert? And with the
Right.
season that Joe Burrow had at LSU that year, I would have had no problem with that. I like Justin Herbert. You know what I'm saying? Like I there was just always something about Justin Herbert, and I still feel it to where there's just something about Justin Herbert that you know what I'm saying, like I haven't seen yet that I want to see. But he's got all the you know what I'm saying, he's got all the the metrics, you know what I'm saying, the size, the arm strength, he's mobile, he has all that. It's just something, you know what I'm saying, there's just something not there about about Justin Herbert, so I would have took Joe Burrow absolutely there. But yeah, so if they're not, if you take all the injuries out, yeah, I think Tua. There's an argument for Tua being the first one.
I agree.
To be
And
quite
did
honest.
we talk about Tyreke? Yes. No.
Well, we gave him his flowers for being, of course, a 99 overall. And is he the top wide receiver, or is it Justin
There's
Jefferson? He's
three,
third.
I believe. I think there's
Okay.
three. I
Okay.
think Justin, him, and Jamar are the 399s.
Okay.
I believe that's there's three of them. I believe, but I know Tariq was a 99.
Yeah, Tyreek's a 99. Justin Jefferson, you said was a 99 as well, and then
I believe so.
you said Lamar.
No, Jamar.
Oh, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase.
Yes.
Yeah, that's yeah. I would and then that's another one. Was it was it Chase a bit banged up this year? Like I said, so who knows what the hell the people at Madden are doing? But they're doing something right because they have everybody and their mother talking about it whenever they put out the rankings for it. So they know
Yeah.
what they're doing to stir stuff up. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, give the people their proper love because they don't want to lose credibility with that. So I would take any one of those three, to be quite honest.
No, I mean I think it's clearly um they're the top of the class. I
Right.
mean, there's
Yeah.
no argument to be made. You can make an argument to maybe add somebody if you wanted to, but I don't think
Right.
you have an argument in terms of um making sure that those three are 99s,
Yeah,
all the way around.
absolutely. A lot of people, especially down in Texas, will probably be like, "Oh, well, CD Lamb." Nah, I mean, I like CD Lamb, but I think he would be right a tier underneath these guys.
I think CD
Um,
Lamb was a 90, 97 or 98 or
right.
somewhere in
That
that.
that that seems about right. That seems about right. He's like in the next tier of top notch wide receivers, which I would throw Waddle probably right behind that. You know what I'm saying? To be quite honest, like I wouldn't be surprised if Waddle's probably the low 90s at the very worst. I would think.
Yeah, low to mid
You know what I'm
90s,
saying?
95-ish would be my
Right.
my guess.
Yeah. So that's about right. So, good job, good job on all the people at Madden for bringing up. They again they put out those rankings. It's almost like the NFL schedule. Like people are anticipating the Madden rankings and all that stuff like that. So so props to them. As we move the show on a little bit here. Like I said, a big signing for our Dolphins. I wanted this man. Last offseason before he went to Atlanta. He went to the U. Of course, I'm talking about nobody else but Calais Campbell. And you want to talk about a big dog? He is a Great Dane. This is a humongous human being, 6'8", 290, long arms, still extremely powerful. A lot of people, oh, he's 38. I don't care. Do you see what he did at 37 for Atlanta last year? And it's not
Yes.
like the Dolphins are going to ask him to play 85, 90% of the snaps like Christian Wilkins used to play. So is he completely replacing Christian Wilkins? No, but you add him to the mix of all the other guys that we brought in to have in this rotation, and I freaking love it. I love the experience. I love the grit, the toughness. Again, you want to talk about a dog. This is a dog type player. You need those types of players on your team. Yes, you want to have good people. He's also a wonderful human being, Calais
Yes.
Campbell. If you know anything about him, he is a great person. But when he gets on that field, he's trying to destroy the people that are across from him, and that's what you need on your team. I think he's going to help out a Benito Jones, a Neville Gallimore, guys that have kind of been okay, but in like the case of Neville Gallimore, I believe he was a first round pick, maybe second round pick, didn't quite meet expectation. Like I think having a Calais Campbell in that defensive line room can only help these younger defensive linemen that are going to be in that rotation with him. So I love the signing of Calais Campbell. What are your thoughts, bro?
I agree. At 37 years old, 37, he played all 17 games, which Tyron Armstead, are you listening? 17 games.
Mm-hmm.
Had 56 tackles, 6.5 sacks, 10 tackles for a loss, and had 17 QB hits along with a forced fumble. If he can match or get close to that production, you hit a home run.
Hell yeah. And I believe he played, I think they said it was like 63% of the snaps, which
Yes,
he may or may not play with Miami. It may be a little bit less than that because of the heavy rotation that Anthony Weaver likes to do. And by the way, they, saying Calais Campbell played for Anthony Weaver in Baltimore. So
yes,
there's
he
that
did.
familiarity as well. So all around, this is a phenomenal signing, in my opinion. Like I said, is he a 28-year-old Calais Campbell to where you're talking about him replacing the Christian Wilkins? No, but you just read off his stats for last year. I'm sure they were comparable to Christian Wilkins, and
Yes,
he's gonna make a fraction of what Christian Wilkins is making. We haven't gotten the exact contract
details yet. No,
details yet, but I'm gonna. All right, let's put on our GM caps and shout out to all the Star Wars fans out there. I am wearing a Stormtrooper hat. I am a Star Wars fan. There's a lot of craziness going on in the Star Wars world, but I am showing support because I am a big ass kid and I like Star Wars. But as I transfer to the GM hat here, I'm thinking probably something similar to OBJ, where it's probably a 1 year. The base is probably somewhere around 4 to 5, and maybe it has something in it that can get it up to like 7-ish or something like that. It may even be less. And this is to be on the high side. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
we could.
I'm thinking 3-4, get to 5.
Okay, see, so we're in the same ballpark. We're in the same stratosphere, or in the same galaxy, I should say, if I want to touch base with the Star Wars thing again. Yeah, and again, I love it because of everything that he's going to bring to the team besides his potential on the field. Like I said, everything he's going to bring to that defensive line room, to the defense as a whole. Again, does he completely replace Christian Wilkins? No, but you add him to the mix of the other guys that we have signed, and I love the potential of what this defense could do. One of the cuts that I saw from him last year was week 17. Again, Teron Armstead, he played all 17 games. But in week 17 in Chicago, in the bad weather, he is balling out. And I know it's Chicago and they're not the greatest of teams. But you know what? Those are NFL football players on that offensive side of the ball. He was dominating. He caught Justin Fields from behind on one play. This is the Justin Fields that everybody has been sweating the fact of all his speed. So he is still a good football player, even at his advanced age. And again, he was playing in the snow in Chicago. That did not faze him at all. So I'm looking forward to seeing Calais Campbell in the aqua and orange, bro.
It's funny. You mentioned the Chicago Bears, and it triggered me to remember something I saw on Twitter. We were talking about Madden rankings, and apparently, oh my God, what's this kid's name?
Caleb Williams. What is he, a 92
yes.
already? He's a 92 already?
No. Caleb Williams, apparently, I don't know where he got it from. So the Carolina Panthers are rated slightly higher than the Chicago Bears. And he went on social media and just had a fit about how are you gonna do us like this, or how can the Carolina Panthers be rated higher? And I'm just like, dude, the Bears haven't won. I mean, the Panthers haven't won anything either. But you're gonna like, if you had said something, I don't know,
right?
like if you had won something and you could complain. But both of you guys suck. You're complaining. Right. I think one was a 76 and one was a 78 or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Who sucks worse? Who sucks worse? And again, do you see what we're saying about how today's players take these rankings?
Yes.
Caleb Williams is upset about his team overall being ranked lower than the Carolina Panthers. Which, oh my God, that's like I hear what he's saying, but at the same time, bro, you haven't even taken a snap. Like, just saying, just calm down. Show the people at Madden, show us the NFL fans, that you guys are something that should be talked about better, or whatever the case may be. So
that's the Packers ones.
That's fun, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, their dad ain't there, but their
The
new
team is.
adopted dad seems to be taking a handoff right from right from their former dad. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens going down the road with Jordan Love, and that whole NFC North is gonna be interesting, man. There's some possibilities for some good young quarterbacks there. In that NFC North, of course, Calais Campbell, JJ McCarthy got drafted this year by Minnesota. Jordan Love, of course, with the Packers, and then Jared Goff, who got a fat contract not so long ago from the Detroit Lions, which transitions us into our third topic of today. Another franchise quarterback got the bag this week. Mr. Trevor Lawrence got paid. I believe the details is what 5 years,
75.
275 million. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and let Byron give you the details of his contract. But Mr. Trevor Lawrence of the Jacksonville Jaguars, hyphen London Jaguars, just gave Trevor Lawrence a hell of a contract. So what are those details on those?
It's 5 years, 275, $55 million annual average salary.
Right.
And this is where it's crazy. His signing bonus was $37.5 million. But at the time that he signed, of the 275, 200 million is guaranteed. 200 million was guaranteed. And that's insane. Got here our boy.
What is going on, Jonathan? Shout out to my son, Jonathan. Yeah, we'll touch on that in a second, John. As far as Tua, over 33 million. Wow, 200 million was immediately guaranteed upon signing.
And his dead cap number is worse than that Kyler Murray number was last season.
Wow.
Kyler Murray was $97 million dead cap last season.
Right.
This season, Trevor Lawrence's dead cap hit is $110 million.
All right. Well, I mean, that's obviously, I mean, it's not going to have any impact on it because there's no way they're obviously going to try to get out of the contract, or whatever. But
I agree.
That's a humongous number. I had originally been seeing something about 183 and like 143 fully guaranteed or something like that, but I guess that was all wrong. That's a nice signing bonus. And
200 is the 37.5, his annual salary this year, and the total guarantees throughout the contract.
Right. So okay.
It's 140. It's 170 something guaranteed.
Right.
Without
okay.
the base salary this year.
All right. Without the base salary this year. Okay. All right. So again, if you remove the layers, there's always, what I'm saying, those numbers or whatever, but the important ones is total guaranteed money, which my man just got 200 fully guaranteed. So props to the Lawrence family and his grandchildren and great grandchildren and great great grandchildren, because they all gonna be straight.
That's a lot
from now. That's generational wealth, especially in the state of Florida if he stays there his whole contract because the no state income tax. So good for Trevor Lawrence. I actually like Trevor Lawrence. There's been a lot of talk about deserving of money, which we'll kind of put into this conversation because I know we're going to touch on that as well. One thing that Dolphin fans and NFL fans out there need to remember is that it's not a matter of just do they deserve the money. You know what I'm saying? The timing of the market, the timing of when they hit free agency and stuff like that is important. I was hearing something on the radio today about Trevor Lawrence's numbers being comparable to that of one Mr. Daniel Jones. And I'm sure when you think of Daniel Jones, you don't think of, $200 million franchise quarterback. No. But at the time, you know what I'm saying, he got $40 million a couple years ago. People were like, oh, my God, he's not worth $40 million. But that's what the market was. So he got his market value at that point. This is where the market's at right now. Jared Goff just got the $53 million annual average salary on his thing. And the number's just going to continue to go up, which leads us to our boy, numero uno down here in Miami, which my son Jonathan, shout out again to John, just talked about. And again, for the new subscribers, hit the subscribe button, smash the like, and definitely turn on notifications so you know whenever we are going live. Like, if they're talking about that they're going to get it done, they want to get it done. Like, the more you wait, the higher it's going to go up. The next person that's probably in line, besides Dak, because that's a whole different animal with Dak and Dallas and stuff like that. But Jordan, like, don't let Jordan Love get his deal before Tua, because then Tua is going to want more than him. As you know, what I'm saying, like, every time somebody signs a quarterback, Tua's camp is just going to say, well, his numbers are comparable to him. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, Trevor Lawrence won a playoff game. Can we please go back to that playoff game? First of all, it's against the Chargers, who choked,
that first half,
gagged like hell in that game. And I believe Trevor Lawrence had not one, not two, not three, but no, 4 interceptions in that playoff victory that he got. So they'll come at me with, oh, well, he won a playoff game and Tua never won a playoff game. Did he win a playoff game, though? Or did Jacksonville just happen to win a playoff game? So, again, he was the number 1 pick. I like, you know what I'm saying, Trevor Lawrence, you know what I'm saying? I think he hits all the metrics that people like in quarterbacks. He's got the size. He's got a good arm. He's got mobility. But he's been a little bit banged up, you know what I'm saying? And, again, I said it. His numbers in his first 3 seasons are comparable to Daniel Jones. Now, does anybody like get all giddy and talk about a franchise quarterback when they talk about Daniel Jones? No, but again, the numbers are comparable to that. So, your thoughts on the Trevor Lawrence bag and how it affects our quarterback?
well, 2 things before I get into Trevor. So, 1, I remember where I was when Daniel Jones signed that $40 million deal, because the Tua topic immediately came up.
Of course it does.
If you had signed him at that moment, would Tua not look like a complete bargain at this point?
Yes.
But what do the Dolphins do? They wait again. And what do? Get priced out again.
Right.
It happened to him with Christian. It happened to him with Brandon. It happened to him with almost everybody. Okay, that's 1.
They got the Waddle deal done, so props to them for getting the Waddle deal done. But again, you know what I'm saying, stop sitting on your hands with this Tua deal, because it's only going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? Because we talked about him earlier, the young man out in San Francisco. He was the last pick in the draft, so I'm sure he's going to be wanting, because he ain't got no 5th-year option and no, you know what I'm saying? So he's going to be wanting a contract soon as well. So,
yes.
I digress. Go ahead, Byron.
The second thing is, I thought coming out of college, Trevor Lawrence was a can't miss prospect. I thought he was a generational quarterback. Everything I saw in college wowed me. Here's I picked him in every fantasy dynasty that I have. I've since traded him in every single fantasy dynasty that I have. And I'll tell you why. There's 2 things that get me from Trevor Lawrence. 1, his footwork is sloppy. That's number 1.
It's horrible.
And the second thing that gets me, which made me trade him away in every single team, is he is the one thing quarterbacks in the NFL can't be. And that's late.
Yeah.
The throw is there. I see what he sees, but he's late.
Right. Which could go back to his footwork and stuff like that, and his mechanics and stuff like that, because if all of that was on point, he could probably get the ball. He's got the arm strength, so he could probably get the ball out and to that spot on time, but he doesn't. And the other thing, just to add, and again, I'll let you get back to it, but he's a turnover machine. But go ahead.
You're making my point. So, with all these warts, Trevor's worth, the market says 55 a year, $200 million guaranteed. Take Tua, who, although has limitations, does not have all these warts.
Right.
What is Tua worth, if not more than that? And that's
Right.
where his camp is right in terms of, well, he doesn't have those warts. He
Right.
doesn't turn the ball over. He's accurate. He's not
Mhm.
late. He deserves to be paid more. But at the same time, we
Uh,
have he's not worth that
John,
much.
now you come on now. And he's got quite a sense of humor, that young man does. So that's clearly a joke.
Yes, he's not quite,
But
but I can see him wanting 51, 52 a year.
I don't think he'll settle for less than Jared Goff now. You know
What's
what I'm
Jared
saying?
Goff was what a year?
53.
Okay,
So I think he's gonna want. I mean, if he doesn't want 55 and a dollar to go over Trevor Lawrence, he's gonna want to be maybe right in between them. Give me 54.
so here's a question: would he take 150?
I don't know, and
Yeah.
I think that's. I wonder if that if
So 54 puts us at what? 360, 162?
yeah, 4 8 12, yeah,
Okay, so
162.
take 3 years, 180, 160, whatever, 62 a year. I mean, not 62 a year.
52 a year,
54 a year.
54.
Would he take a 3-year deal? Everything I've seen has been 4 and 5. Would he take a 2-year deal at that number?
Well, not now that you mentioned that, let's get into it a little bit, because I'm wondering, like, what is the snag? What is the thing that's holding this up from happening? Is it the total guaranteed money? Is it the length of the contract? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Is it the average annual? While I understand that the players see this kind of as like we mentioned Caleb Williams with the Madden rankings. Well, this is how, and not just NFL players but pro athletes rank themselves, is how
This
they
is
get
how
paid.
grown men measure themselves.
Yes, it's how they get paid. You know what I'm saying? So if that guy right there, if I think I'm better than him or just as good as him, and he got, $55 million, well, then I want 56. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The perfect example of this, as far as athletes thinking about this, is the year that Kevin Garnett, and for you younger athletes, he was a basketball player for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He signed back in the day a $126 million contract total for his NBA contract that he signed. And Alex Rodriguez, people down here in Miami know who Alex Rodriguez is, former Seattle Mariner, New York Yankee. When he signed his contract and left Seattle to go to Texas, he signed for $252 because he wanted to have exactly double of what Kevin Garnett had just signed, which was the highest contract in team sports history. So that's how these guys measure themselves. You know what I'm saying? He wanted exactly double of what a guy from another league got. So imagine what these guys, when they look at their peers as far as quarterback and stuff like that. So on the one hand, I can see where Tua's saying, nah, I need to get what they're getting. Or is Tua's thing, because of the injury history, more of the total guarantee money is his main thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, like once I sign with my 20 whatever that it's going to be this year, because remember, it's an extension, people. So he's still going to get the 20 whatever unless they play with it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be the 20 whatever from the 5th year option and then the extension. So if you give him a 3-year extension at the 162 plus his 20 something, so then you're guaranteeing him 180, 190 total guarantee at signing. That's, to me, that's like hard to walk away from. But again, is that where his pride and his thing is going to be like, well, no, he got 200 fully guaranteed at signing. I want 201. And that's what happens when you sit on your hands and you wait, and all these other quarterbacks and teams are, because the Jaguars didn't even need to do that this year.
No.
They could have waited till next season.
Yes.
But they took care of it now because you see how out of hand these contracts are getting.
Yes.
So Dolphins, again, I'm with you. Something like that would be what I would want to do. You know what I'm saying? A 3 or 4 year. You know what I'm saying? Are the Dolphins trying to be slick? And again, I'm not saying that they're trying to undercut my man or not give him a fair deal, but are they trying to hey, we want to put it out after the first 2 years, after this season and next season, just in
Right.
case? You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Is that something you know what I'm saying? Is that something that they're trying to put in the contract that he ain't feeling that? You know what I'm saying? That could be the snag. We have no idea what it is that's holding up this contract. But in my opinion, as a Dolphin fan, don't prolong this. And as far as the Dolphin fans that don't like Tua and say he's not worth it, again, it's not about worth, bro. Stop that. It's about timing and what the market, even Tua said it. The market is the market. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about timing as far as when you become a free agent or when you come up to get the contract and where the market is. And this is where the market is right now. And the longer you wait, it's only going to go up. So I think they need to get it done. I think that's fair, what we just talked about here. If he is going to be one of those, it has to be 200. Again, I don't know why Dolphin fans get so in their feelings. It's not your money. You ain't paying for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just saying. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to pay an extra $1 for that beer when you go to the stadium, maybe. But you know what? I mean, Stephen Ross is fairly good with that when it comes to that, as far as trying to take care of his fans and stuff like that. He's done a great job with the stadium and how he's taking care of the stadium. He's not afraid to spend money. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to pay people, you know what I'm saying? Because he's cut fat checks for people already over and over and over again. And the man wants to win. So I think it's just a matter of time. But when do you think it will get done? Because there's no doubt it's going to get done. It's just a matter of when do you think it's going to get done, and where do you think the AAV is going to be? Because that's what most fans look at. Oh my God, he's not worth $60 million a year, and my son thrown in the ridiculous $75 million a year. Obviously, it's not going to be that, but I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere between the 54 and 57 a year.
Okay.
At least that's what it's going to look like. Once you remove the layers, you'll see that it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be $300 million.
So you just said a few things that I don't understand why my brain works like this sometimes. You said 3 things, everything made sense. And I picked 3 different things from everything you said, put them together, and came up with something utterly ridiculous that when I say it to you, I think works. And it's completely asinine and insane.
Okay.
What if, you know how we're talking about Ross might want an out, this and that?
Mm-hmm.
I thought about Kirk Cousins.
Mm.
And I said, what if Stephen Ross says, here's a 1-year extension at 55, fully guaranteed?
I don't think he'll take it.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
If I say I'm giving you a year to so that he's never a lame duck. So
right. I got you.
55 this year, he got the 25 and the 55 next year.
Right.
Next off season, depending on how you do here, we can revisit a longer extension, or here's another 55.
No. I mean,
you get how asinine and insane that is. But it is on explodes.
It is on so many levels, but at the same time, I hear you, and if that was something that was honestly feasible, I like it. You know what I'm saying?
But that's why I listen. I'm an asshole when it comes. This is why you guys give me the GM hat, and I always come up with weird shit.
It's all good. That's why we love it, bro. It's all good. But I'm with you on that. I'm kind of feeling that. But I think it would almost be like a backhanded, you know what I'm saying? It would be a slap in the face to the kid, to be completely honest. After what I know, you don't care, you know what I'm saying? As far as you know what I'm saying, if you're the GM, it's his business, whatever, blah blah blah. But as far as the aesthetics, how that would look to the national media, to our fan base, to everybody if the Dolphins were to, even if they gave him, we're giving him a 1-year extension for 60, that it would still be spun to where they don't truly believe in him because they're not giving him the long-term contract. And you know he's going to feel some kind of way. This is the same team that was trying to get Deshaun Watson. This is the same team that tried to get Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? So this is the same team that tried to trade all their draft picks, to move up to get Joe Burrow on draft night. Supposedly, Brian Flores wanted Jordan Love instead of Tua. So he's already kind of gotten shitted on by this franchise one way or another. Whoever you're saying. So for them to do something like that, even though in our brains, because of how we feel about him and how we would want to conduct our business, it kind of makes sense to us. Like that would be such a bad look, bro.
Would 2-1-10 be the same look?
He's trying to go year for year now, and I think, but see, that's where we sit on level ground as far as like kind of being with Stephen. If the snag is the fact that they want an out, that's where we all sit on the same level, thinking the same way. As far as like, yeah, I would want an out after 2 years just in case, because if we wind up and this schedule, we talked about the schedule when it comes out. Like we got, at Cleveland, at New York, against Houston, home against San Francisco. Like this, there's there's a gauntlet of games towards the end of the season. If he struggles through that this year, like how can you go into the following season with extreme confidence in his ability to get the job done? You can't.
Right. And that's where I think our loyalty is to the name on the front.
Absolutely, always.
The name on the back.
Absolutely, it will always be that way for me.
As fans, we want that option where, listen, if you stink this year, we want to be able to get out.
Right.
But
or at the very least, be able to get out after the next year.
Right. But his loyalty is still the name on the back, not the one in the front.
Right.
Because there's about 20 other teams that'll line up to sign Tua to a long-term extension. I would think about 20 other teams.
That is something that we can honestly get into next Monday's show, because shout out to oh my god, I'm drawing a blank right now. Kyle Krabs at Grinding the Tape. He's the host of Locked on Dolphins. If you're a Miami Dolphin fan and you're not listening or watching Kyle Krabs, you're missing out. My man knows his stuff, and again, he hosts Locked on Dolphins and some other stuff. He did a bit of a breakdown as far as like which teams may go after Tua, so that's something that we can kind of speculate more on next week's show. But I kind of agree with him, and there's probably a few more, but I think he had it somewhere around 5 or 6 teams that would no doubt be in line to possibly compete, with Miami to sign Tua next offseason if he were available, considering the draft class for next season and who else's contracts expire as far as quarterbacks and who might be available next season. So that's an interesting conversation to have. So we can definitely get deeper into that one on next week's show. But yeah, I can see where they would want to get out after 2 years. So that's what makes all this stuff interesting. Bro, John, okay. And you're making me do this, John. You know what I'm saying? And I love my son. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to love my son. But we've had this discussion. That was week 2, bro. Week 2.
Wait, is he talking about the season before that?
Yes, he's talking about 2 years ago when the Dolphins had the big comeback in week 2 against the Baltimore Ravens. And again, my son is on the younger side. He's a younger Dolphins fan, so he has known nothing but misery as far as being a Dolphin fan. And I feel bad for him to the point where I have apologized to my son for making him a Dolphin fan and putting him through all the misery that he's had to go through, because he didn't have the pleasure of watching number 13 like we did. You know what I'm saying? So he don't know what it's like to have a real quarterback. So I understand his admiration and his liking of Tua, and Tua is a good quarterback. And again, he's the best quarterback we've had since Dan. But again, that bar is like basically laying on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a very high bar.
Jay
And I know
Fiedler
he,
would be
you know
the
what I'm
other
saying?
one.
I
Would be
get
the
it, but
only
again,
other name.
that's a week 2 game, John. We need to see it we need to see it this season. And he had, this season coming up, he had opportunities this past season, and he just didn't come through, man. Like, and I'm gonna bang on the table that week 18 game against Buffalo at home. You have to make some plays and win that freaking game. Like, you have to. You had a 3-game
I'll
lead with 5 games left on Buffalo, and you
go a
dwindle
week
it all
before.
down. No, I'm with you on all that, but I'm just saying, like, if
Go
you
a week
can't win
before.
that
And
game at home, you can't
you get
even
a first
score more than
down.
7 points. They couldn't score more than 7 points. Like, you're the
Right, but if you
quarterback,
get
like,
a
and
first
you
down
want.
against Tennessee, all of that
That's
is
what,
moot.
right. No, I'm saying we can get into each get. You know, what I'm saying, like, all the mishaps of those last 4 or 5 games. But week 18 at home against your division rival for a chance to win the East, and you did nothing. Nothing of nothing memorable, and you lost the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took them making a special teams play or whatever. So your defense, for all the Vic Fangio haters, your defense kept you in that game, but your offense couldn't do enough to win that game at home. So there was no weather issue, no nothing like that. You're at home, and you couldn't get it done.
That
So
was
I still need to see it. I still need to see it,
that
and I
was
like Tua.
the return. There was a punt return, right? That
Yeah,
was
yeah, that was the game that a punt return for a touchdown, basically gave them the win. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, it was. I think we scored like 7 points that game, but we scored 14 points or whatever, something like that. But bottom line is we lost. The offense didn't do much. Tua didn't do much, and you had Buffalo at home, and you couldn't get it done. My boy Byron, I believe your screen is frozen.
Yes,
Can you?
listen, product placement, baby. Drink a Coke.
Yes,
Send that
there
check.
you go.
Send that check, baby.
Always. So again, that's something we can get deeper into. And again, I would like to touch on the topic of, if you do go down the rabbit hole of making Tua play on his 5th year, which is something that we've talked about that we would have done, saying, if we were GMs. But of course, say our mindsets are completely different because like Byron said, I am with him 110%. I am a Miami Dolphin fan. You know what I'm saying? So the numbers on the back are always going to change. The one in the front doesn't. So that's where I am a fan of. You know what I'm saying? So I want the Miami Dolphins to win. I don't care if Joe Schmo is our quarterback. I just want a freaking Super Bowl. So I hope it's Tua. I hope it's with Tua, and I hope Mike McDaniel is the offensive coordinator, because I love him too. But you got to make it happen in December and January, man. Like, it is what it is. You got to get it done towards the end of the season. This season coming up, so we'll see where that all goes. But go ahead.
And this season is the season to be able. You have the narrative is there. Can't win at the end of the season. Can't win in cold weather. Right. This is the season where you have end of the season games that you should win. We think, in our estimation, in terms of Cleveland and the Jets.
Yeah. If you really are who you say you are,
right? And they're both cold weather games,
right?
So
against good teams, you know what I'm saying? Because that's another one of the narratives. So the schedule laid out perfectly for them
at the end,
right?
So yeah, this would be it. This is, and that's why I'm okay with him playing on that 5th season, because this is a season that would be, and hold on, because there's this comment.
Yeah, I get that.
You pay him, and that's it.
Right. And as far as like, that's the only thing that you would have to worry about. If like, and again, if he does ball out, it's with Mike McDaniel, obviously, with this team that's been put together for him. So while I can see where he would feel some kind of way to where him leaving could be a possibility, ultimately, if he balls out, and I would imagine you're talking to John, like, don't tell me balls out means he throws for the most passing yards and the most touchdowns, and then we lose in the first round of the playoffs, because to me that ain't balling out. Like balling out means you win a playoff game or two, and we're in the AFC title game, and we just can't beat Patrick Mahomes, or even better, make it to a freaking Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? If he balls out like that, then you give him whatever the hell he wants. And again, I understand what he may feel some kind of way as far as like you guys don't believe in me and tries to pull a Christian Wilkins. Like that's the only one thing you would have to worry about. But at the same time, I think he would be smart enough to understand that he's in the perfect situation if he balls out and plays well with Mike McDaniel, with this offense, with these players around him. I think he would have to swallow his pride. I mean, I think he would rake, you know what I'm saying, or drag the Dolphins over the coals, you know what I'm saying, for what they've made him have to go through. But I think the Dolphins and Stephen Ross would have no problem paying him if he gets us to an AFC title game. I can't see your reaction, Byron. All I can see is the great advertisement for the Coke can. But yeah, if he balls out and we go to the we're hosting. If we in a world where we go 13-4, you know, say he balls out at the end of the season, we win the division, we get the number 1 seed, we're hosting Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow in the AFC title game, and we just come up short, but he plays well. I mean, dude, pay. Of course you pay him. You pay him whatever, you know what I'm saying? You do what you got to do to keep him there.
If he goes out and the defense is the only reason we don't win,
yeah,
then you don't have a choice but to keep him. I mean,
right.
If he shows you he is bar none,
right,
the number 6 quarterback in the league based on his rankings,
right,
the number 6 quarterback,
right,
then you pay him.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have him at somewhere between 8 and 12,
right, yeah.
I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to give him $55 million when there's nothing more valuable than hope trafficking. And if you draft a quarterback at number 1, that's the most popular guy in the world.
Right. Right. And I'm with Byron on this 110%. And again, to clarify, and I don't want to speak for Byron, as far as the paying $55 million, like I don't care. I just don't want to have to guarantee that for the next 4 years without seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Without seeing it.
It sucks to pay $55 million for a quarterback you can't win with.
Right. And that's what we dealt with the young man that was here before Tua and one Mr. Ryan Tannehill. But there was always the tease of, oh man, well, can he? I knew he wouldn't. Like I knew we wasn't gonna win with him. You know what I'm saying? 2016 was kind of teased a little bit, but still in the back of my mind, it's not like I ever thought, oh, yeah, this kid can win us a Super Bowl. No, I never thought he could win us a Super Bowl. So with Tua, I honestly think if he plays well with all these weapons and with Mike McDaniel's mind and stuff like that, I think we can win a Super Bowl. If the defense shows up and stuff like that, I think we can. But I got to see it before I'm going to guarantee you 3-4 more years. And that's where my issue is. I don't care about the annual average. I
agree. But what we saw at Kansas City is not it.
No, hell no. What we saw in Kansas City is not what we saw the last 4 or 5 games of the season. And I know John put there, you can't put all the blame on him. No, you can't put all the blame on him. But at the same time, he is the quarterback. And unfortunately, they get too much of the praise and they get too much of the blame. It is what it is. But
that's what you're up for.
Again, find a way to get a first down against Tennessee on that Monday night game. I mean, we ain't talking about this. Find a way to put some offense together against Baltimore in that first half and keep us in the game. Maybe it's a respectable game. Find a way to score enough points at home, week 18 for the division against your arch rival. And he couldn't get it done. He couldn't get it done. The offense couldn't get it done. The Miami Dolphins couldn't get it done. And he is the quarterback. So that's where it starts and ends, John. That's what you need to understand. It's not putting the blame all on him, but it starts and ends with your quarterback. I like him. I think we can win with him, but I'm not going to lock myself up for 4 or 5 years until I see it consistently. And I haven't yet. But we talked about it. We touched on it, quite a bit there where it's all laid out in this schedule this year, where all those narratives can get busted. And I love what Mike McDaniel is doing, and we can touch on this next Monday as well. Again, if you're new, hit the subscribe, smash the like. Now, before I throw it to you, I'm just going to throw subscribe, like, turn on notifications. Dolphin Chronicles every Monday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thursday night, False Nine, all things Inter Miami right here on the Kendall Sports Network. And, of course, every Friday night, 7:30 Eastern Time this week in Miami, all things 305. So definitely subscribe, hit that like button. Before we get up out of here, go ahead, Byron. What do you have to say?
Were you talking about the Everything 24?
Yes. Love it. Love it. Don't run from that shit.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it. It is what it is. Because you know what, Dolphin fans, we should be embarrassed that that's on us. That we're in the same conversation, not even now, that we were in the same conversation as the Detroit Lions. And now they have passed us and we have the longest losing, saying drought of a playoff game. 24 years. That sucks.
Yeah.
So let's do something about it this year. And I love that Mike McDaniel is doing that. Again, that's something we could touch on next week, along with the whole where we would, say how many teams we think would be in line, who we would be negotiating against if a contract hasn't gotten done. God help us if a contract hasn't gotten done by next week's show. That is going to be a hot topic right there. But again, if you're new, hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and definitely turn on notifications so you know whenever we're going live. We will be back next Monday night, same place. Hopefully all three of us will be there. Shout out to our boy Alex, handling his business, putting that work in, so he couldn't be here with us tonight. But hopefully all three of us could be here for you guys next Monday. Hopefully Byron won't freeze with his Coca-Cola can right in his face. But there you go, man. Free marketing for you guys at Coca-Cola. Before we get out of here, Byron, let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Right under that Coke can at Paramount Pete.
There you go. And you can find me at the Yankee Fin on all social media platforms. Again, this is the Kendall Sports Network. This is the Dolphin Chronicles every Monday night, all things Miami Dolphins. For Byron and for our boy Alex out there, I am Johnny Cruz. Thanks for checking us out. Come hit us up next time. Jonathan, thanks for all the comments in there. We will catch you guys next Monday. Hit that outro, Byron. Peace.
Yes, sir.